Well, there we go. Over 5,000 likes. I think the YouTube's running. Maybe. Nope. Nope, the opposite of that. Okay, well, can't get everything right. But we might even have a request, and who knows? They might be able to question their beliefs. Or they're a ghost. That's okay. Appreciate you, birdies. Thank you so much. And now we've really got everything right. There's 18 of us here already. That's enough to tap the screen and maybe build up a little bit of momentum. Good to see you too, Sebastian. And welcome into everybody else who's just joining us. Welcome, Ghost Bane, of course. Welcome to Morgan, to LJ, welcome. Yang's Secret Assassin, welcome to you too. And to Jazz, welcome. Good to see you, Brenna Green. And Evan Levon. Good to see you. Welcome, Renee. Renee Good is a clown. Interesting. Interesting. Well, welcome in what I heard, Autumn Eggleston. Welcome, Sebastian, Susan Wells. Good to see y'all. Hope y'all are doing well. So what's the counter argument for tag? Be live. I understand where the flaws in an argument like that is. Also, somebody was Do you
bad
think
to not believe.
Yeah, do you?
Believe in something when I just don't. We are put so much pressure on us in our lives to pick and choose what we want to believe in when we should just be living our damn lives. And I guess that's what I try to tell people.
Can you think of a God that you would want to believe in? If
God, no.
an afterlife you would want?
I mean, I think heaven is a false. I think I don't want to be in heaven because I think if I was in heaven and everybody that I loved is in hell, then I don't want to be in heaven. And if everything is great in heaven, you just get to do everything you want, everything's perfect. That sounds boring. I don't want to be in a place like that. I don't want to be in a heaven.
Can you think of if, or that an afterlife is waiting?
I guess the only thing that convinced me at one time was when I tried to do something to myself with a
You don't
sort
need
of
to
rope.
elaborate.
Yeah. And it started raining all of a sudden and I broke loose. I thought, maybe there was a intervention by something, but that doesn't mean it was a god. It could be anything. It could be nature. It was rain. So everybody wants to be so quick to point that it's God, but you don't know if there's anything at all. There could be absolutely nothing. Maybe humans created this just because they wanted some kind of comfort, or to point, if it's good, it's bad, then you go here, you go there. I don't like that. I don't like that construct personally, but that's just me. I've done terrible things, but I think I'm a good person.
Does it matter to you if there is a God there or an afterlife waiting?
If there's not, no.
If there is,
No, because I don't want to be a part of being something. Well, if there's a God there, and I don't know. Now, see, that's why you mess me all up. I shouldn't care.
you shouldn't care. Why?
Because if there's a God there that just wants you to do what he wants you to do, then I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to obey and be somebody's little servant, like a freaking slave. Like, there's free will for a reason. And if you want to give me free will and then judge me on it, then I don't want to be a part of it. So if God exists and wants me to be his little slave, then no, I don't want a part of it. I want to be my own person and know I'm a good person. And no matter what happens to me, hopefully I will get what I deserve, good or bad. If I go right down to hell because he doesn't believe that I did right, then oh well, I did what I wanted. I did what I could do. I don't need to blindly follow some leader because he tells me to. I don't know if that makes any sense or if I'm just talking out of my ass.
Nope. Sounds like you don't want to follow anything like that. You don't want to be a blind follower to anything.
I don't. My kids are, though.
Can you you imagine a God not asking you to follow blindly, something that presents itself to you in some way?
That would be amazing. There's not a God like that.
Would you want to follow or worship a God that did present itself to you?
Well, that's not the only criteria I would need. I mean, I would need to know more about that.
What other criteria do you think you would need?
I would need to know what they require, what they think is good and bad. I would need to know the background. I mean, a God can't just manifest itself out of thin air, although Christian God seems to. But I don't know. Following one God just seems kind of odd to me. I don't know if I could do that. I think we have to just follow what we feel. I mean, if a God spoke to me and truly made me feel something, then yeah, that would be different. But you're saying a hypothetical God. I don't have a hypothetical God, so I can't really follow a hypothetical God. It would be nice. It would be nice to have, my family just follows Christianity. It would be nice to just, it would be that easy for me. Like, oh, I just follow God. I just follow Jesus Christ. It would be so nice to be that easy, but it's not easy for me like it is for them.
Why don't you believe in Christianity?
I just can't believe in the judging. And they say they don't judge people, but they do. And the Bible judges, and everything I've read and all the research I've done, I can't agree with it. No matter how hard I try. I wanted to, God is forgiving, God, blah, blah, blah. I cannot get myself to follow it. I just don't agree with it. I don't believe in the anti-gay propaganda. I don't believe in, and I know that they don't talk about being gay in the Bible, but they kind of do. People say they don't talk about being gay in the Bible. Yeah, they do. I can't quote everything, but and also they judge adultery, and I've been guilty of that. I'm not going to lie. I will take ownership of it. I don't judge anybody, so I cannot be a part of a religion that judges people. And that's why I gravitate towards Wiccan, and maybe I need to do my research more, but I gravitate toward it because it's just a nature, it's a whole world thing. It's not a one person thing. I don't believe in just worshiping one person.
Do you know the history of Wicca?
The funny thing is, and I really need to do more research, but so I live in Burlington, Iowa. It's a small town. I went into the library because I was like, you know what? I want to find books on this. I want to research this more. I know I could do it online, but I really wanted a book. There was not a single damn book in the whole library. And I was like, why? I couldn't figure out why. And I'm not saying that I haven't researched it more, but I just wanted a book to read because everything on the internet is just so fucking, I don't know. I don't know.
I would recommend looking into it. There are websites you can look into, and
but which ones are good and which ones are wrong and which ones are, I don't know. Like, I don't know where to start, and it's just so when you delve into the internet, it's an endless, it's like diving into a galaxy. There's just so much, and it's overwhelming, and you don't know where to start. Do you understand what I'm saying?
mm-hmm. it would help if you look into the sources of the things that you're looking at. Not just to read the surface level information a website provides, but who hosts that? What do they benefit in hosting it? Could there be some misinformation there?
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I don't even know where to start, Like with Christianity, they're just like, start in the Bible. And I'm like, oh, I start in the Bible. I don't understand anything this says. And when I do understand it, I don't like it. But here's another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, with something like Wicca, when you look into how it was started and how it was pieced together, and then you might find that it's also kind of vague. It's also kind of less than desirable. But
one thing I'm going to say to you is, and it doesn't mean it has to be Wiccan, and it doesn't mean it has to be anything, but the most peace that I found. So I live on the edge of the woods. So I climbed down to the edge of my house into this huge field, and I laid in the middle of the field. That was the only time in my life I felt peace. There was no God. There was no anything. It was the only time I felt peace in my life. And that might not be a religion or anything, but the peace I felt was overwhelming. I take so many medications. I take so many damn medications. That was the only time I felt peace without any medication in my life. But we all can't just live in the middle of the field and make a living, There was something else I was going to tell you, but I totally forgot. I'll think about it. If you let me chime in later. I know you got other people wanting to talk.
Well, they came up to ask you questions. So
ask me questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your best critique of this belief system?
What is my what?
Your best critique of your beliefs.
If you're going to criticize it, how would you do so?
Critique. Sorry, you guys overlapped each other.
If you were to criticize your belief systems, what you believe, how would you criticize it?
Criticize my belief something? Criticize my belief something?
Belief system.
I would criticize it by saying I don't know. I would criticize it by saying that I don't have any answers. I'm just going in it blindly. I'm clueless, really. I go in.
You're clueless.
Yeah.
If you're clueless, why have you gravitated towards it?
Towards what? Atheist?
No, if you're clueless about it, why are you gravitating towards it?
Towards this specific setting.
Because nothing else makes sense to me. I gravitate towards nothing because Catholic. I grew up in the Catholic Church for 13 years and it basically ruined me.
Do you believe Wicca is not an organized religion?
And no, I don't think it is. Personally, I don't. I guess it depends on what you believe in. But like I said, I will be honest and say I don't know enough about it.
Do you mean paganism as opposed to Wicca?
No, paganism is, I guess, kind of the same. I guess you're right, because paganism is the same thing, I guess, because the same talk about like Christmas trees and, oh, you can't have Christmas. Like my husband's family, my ex-husband's family says, oh, you can't have a Christmas tree because it's pagan. It's not Christian, you know? So I guess maybe it is the same, but they think that pagan is evil. They think that paganism is evil, when to me, I think paganism is neutral, if that makes sense.
It does.
You're going by nature's cycles and like the solstice, and to me that seems natural. So it seems way more natural than reading a book like the Bible or, Mormon. To me, paganism seems natural.
So you said earlier that it seems natural and that you were lost because you didn't have answers. What can laying in the middle of the field by yourself with no one but you and nature, what answers do you think it can bring you?
It doesn't bring me answers, I guess. It just gave me peace. And I guess I just needed that at the time. Maybe it is. Maybe it really is. Maybe I need to go back to that. Honestly, there is no answers there. It was just, I've never felt that much peace before. And I have no answers and I have no explanation for anything. It was, isn't the goal to have peace in your life? No matter what religion it is, isn't the goal to have peace? Or am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
To me, I believe, yes, I believe peace is my goal. So maybe I answered my own question. But people come on here and they want to judge everybody else. So I'm so used to people attacking people. I'm not used to people actually being nice to me.
We tend to have that effect on people when they actually participate like you do.
I'm really not used to that. I'm just used to being attacked. I'm used to political beliefs and everything.
If you're honest and respectful, we are honest and respectful, and it's a really good, productive conversation. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Can I ask? It's personal. You don't have to answer me, but can I ask how you guys feel about stuff? And if it's too personal, I don't expect an answer, but I'm just curious.
It's not that it's necessarily personal. I'm happy to answer. But we all have different... yeah, go ahead.
We all have different beliefs, and it's not about you, but it's about other guests will try to argue with us if they know what we think. So we tend to not say it.
Well, I just like to learn about other people. That's my whole purpose for being here, So first of all, my whole purpose for being here was because this person with the weird voice always argued me and made me question. Like, every time he argued with me, I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, why does he have this weird calming effect? By making me feel like, oh, you don't judge me, but you're listening. And a lot of people don't do that. So that's why I was drawn into this space. And then I met you guys, who are very kind. And that's very refreshing because I'm so tired of the fighting and the arguing. And and you don't have, like I said, you don't have to tell me. I'm curious if anybody, I don't need to hear it. I will leave if I need to.
Well, Jesse, as we said, we all believe different things, and our beliefs aren't that much different from yours. Each of us has a different version of I don't know.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming up and answering the questions that you have, but I do think it is time that we move on to a new guest. You have done
Can I still
amazingly.
listen?
You can absolutely listen. I am going to set you back down to the comments, but there
Can
is
I
also,
can I still comment too without being disrespectful?
well, you can comment. I was going to set you down and clear the panel back up,
Okay, of
but
course.
because I take one new guest at a time. But I
Oh.
think that you might fit in the Discord. Also, there's a link tree in my bio, in the Batcolyte's bio. Either
Okay.
one will take you there.
I'm like 40 years old. Linktree means nothing to me. I don't know what that means.
It's just
a
a,
link
it's,
to the website.
yeah, it's just a link to a website full of links.
With a bunch of other links.
Yeah, and the first
Okay.
link goes to my Discord.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you have any trouble with that, you can DM me or either one of these two, and they'll help you get there.
Happily.
But I am going to set you back
Yeah,
down,
absolutely.
Jesse. I appreciate you coming up and answering the questions.
I was just
you
talking
did.
on TikTok.
I said I love you too.
Love you too.
I'm going to set you down. Appreciate you, Jesse.
I have something for you, Thrayle.
What's that?
Oh, come on. Really? You've been yelling at me for 15 minutes and now you shut up?
There it is. Angry.
He's making the angry face at you guys, not at me right now.
Oh, poor thing.
Hi, sweetie. I'm gonna feed you in a second.
So pitiful.
Oh, thank you, Shell. I think we've got another request in here, or two. We'll start here. The ghosts. Yeah. Clear a ghost. Where a ghost? There a ghost. But also, while we wait for the next ghost, I gotta thank Sebastian, Morgan Le Fay, Danny Grax, and Everla, previous goal. Thank you guys so much. That's right. Hello, Full Rage Alchemist. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yes, my age is I'm 40.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I have a belief, and I don't have an ascribed label.
You have a belief, but not an ascribed label. Is there a god in your belief? Or
Of like I guess spiritual like essences, but I don't believe in like an overlord, like an entity which encompasses what we would think, I guess, as monotheistic, like father deity or mother deity for that matter.
so no mother deity, no father deity, no
not like
overlord, no
not hierarchical
pantheon.
speaking.
Is there any pantheon of higher deities, stronger deities?
Not particularly.
Is it just that you believe in, what is a spirit?
Just a little background. I'm a history teacher. I've been teaching high school history, and I'm recently an adjunct professor at the local junior college. I've been teaching history for about 12 years now, and the last 2 years I've been an adjunct professor. But yeah, I'd say it's more closer to what I guess we would believe people years now, and who were believed in animistic type of. I have my
Can you tell
degrees
me
in-
what a spirit is?
So, to me, a spirit is something that, although can have a corporeal connection, it doesn't have a corporeal like form that is completely stated, but also has some sort of an energy and life force in essence, and can have influence over us in some ways, or at least influence on us.
What is a spirit? You're saying it's something that has no, or some kind of, it has no corporeal form, it has some kind of tether and some kind of energy. But what is it?
So some spirits I don't understand. The one that I do know is my own. Like, my soul is a spirit.
What is a soul?
For me, it's what I am. It's the thing that controls my body. It's the thing that,
Does your brain get no credit for that?
the brain doesn't get credit for that. No, the brain is just the filter. Probably actually shines me down.
Thank you, Valkyrie. What do you mean filter?
I mean, if we think about it, the way I envision it, the way I see things is kind of everybody that's linked in this, what we call reality, and like what we're experiencing or being experienced with, we all have, like focal points, and those focal points are also at the same time filtering points, and that's our bodies. But are we our minds, or are we our bodies? Because our body is our mind. I feel like that's not the controller. The controller is your essence, and in a sense, that is your spirit. That is your soul. It's the thing that does. It's not the thing that...
The controller, the essence. You're saying that's the thing that is the soul. How is the brain not responsible for controlling?
Because the brain can exist with or without the spirit. But once it stops being inhabited by the spirit or controlled by the spirit, it withers away back into the universe.
When it stops being controlled by or inhabited by a spirit, it withers away into the universe.
Yeah, such as the
This is
experience
kind
of life.
I'm sorry, it's kind of poetic, but it's not actually following. I'm not hearing how you can say that the brain has no responsibility for control of the body.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't have responsibility. That's why I say it's the filter.
What is it filtering?
It's filtering, the actions and the things that your soul and your spirit want to do.
Why do you think that it's filtering anything?
Well, I mean, we have things that we wish we could do, things that are realistic and that can happen. And if they do happen, we've connected. And even though we're filtering it, maybe we're focusing it more instead of just like being limited by our brain. And instead, it's working in the sense that it magnifies our agency. And in a sense, it can work both ways. It's just, I feel like our soul figuring out the mechanism of our body through the brain is, important.
Our soul figuring out the mechanism of the body through the brain. You're just kind of running words together, but you're not actually explaining anything about how a soul is being filtered through a brain. What of the brain's processes? How are these?
I mean, I'm not a neuro like biologist, but
do you think it's possible that if you were to study neurology a little more in depth, that you might find a responsible party in the equation?
I don't, because biologically speaking, I know that when we are what we consider alive and we experience what we consider life, we are being. And it's kind of like the we is not the brain. The consciousness is not the brain. The brain is the thing that we are experiencing our consciousness through. It's not the thing that's doing it. It is the thing that is experiencing it. It doesn't, to me, it's like the same way. It almost
is this just because you have decided that it is so, and no level of scientific understanding will sway you? Is this a dogmatic belief?
No, it's not. It's just, I guess it would be considered.
It's certainly sounding like one.
It would be considered experiential, because from what I do know
You say
of
it's
biology,
experiential.
yes.
I'm sorry, but
and also in my mind,
you're saying
logical.
that it's experience. Okay, I have a question to ask, and if you don't stop talking, I can't get to the question. I apologize if it seems rude that I'm interrupting, but you're not really getting any further. So the question that I'd like to ask is how is it that you have some experience that tells you that no level of understanding of neurology will give you a different viewpoint than the one you have? It seems rather...
Could you repeat the question, because you're asking me if I'm not understanding the question. You said no level of understanding of neurology will give me an... could you just repeat it again?
A different viewpoint than the one you already hold.
Oh, I'm sure it could.
Well,
Do I think it will? I'm not sure. Do I think it will? I'm not sure. Because from what I understand, and like I said, I'm 40, and the way that I look at it, it's in my understanding and the way that I've kind of narrowed it down, is that the mind isn't the thing that's just controlling me. Because when you die, or we die, or anyone dies, your brain ceases to be. But before that, when you're alive, there's an energy that's going through you that is making things happen. When that energy dissipates and you are considered dead.
Energy. What is energy?
Energy is anything that makes, in my sense, at least in the way I'm talking about it with the soul, it makes anything possible. Like there's reality, there's frequency, there's light, there's different forms of energy. And I believe the soul is also one of those forms of energy. I mean, we are all an energy field of molecules connected within a bigger energy field.
What is energy?
I feel like you want to tell me what it is.
No, I need a clearer answer that's actually saying what the thing is, and not just using it in several sentences.
Okay, I guess I will say I don't know. We'll say that.
If you don't know what energy is, then why would you ascribe it to the functions of a soul?
Well, I thought I just explained when it's incorrect. Maybe you can help clarify.
I'm sorry, can you give me a more brief summation of what you just said then, if you think you explained it, without using energy in the sentence? What is energy?
It is the thing that gives action and also connects things to reality. And
it's a thing that gives action and connects things to reality.
Yeah.
What do you mean it gives action?
It is a source.
It is a source.
Yes.
Is it possible?
Go ahead.
Is that possible that you're oversimplifying an extremely complex process?
Absolutely.
So why do you think you have a inclination to do such a thing?
Because I think that's how people work. I think
Like a
that
shortcut.
trying to make sense of something in a simplified way for themselves is generally how people try and make sense of things. And I don't know how
Sure,
else to
maybe
explain it
colloquially, but like, do you think there's any benefit in like delving deeper and trying to understand?
scientifically, right? That's what we try and do.
It's not a dig; it's a genuine question because like this happens all the time, and you seem like a smart guy. So I guess my question is like, there's a time for shortcuts, exploring. If you're saying that the universe is energy and that it's an all sort of encompassing, it seems to me there is a moment to discuss energy sort of thing, and but to sort of take this moment now and flat energy sort of thing, and but to sort of take this moment now and flatten the entire universe as being energy, this undefinable sort of all thing, this catch-all. Um, it doesn't like I'm just wondering what the goal is in flattening it all when you've already admitted that it's more deep than just that. Why even bring it up?
Remember where the point of you guys, your questions, intentionality behind the questions, and that's okay. I'm here for discussion. If you guys
You
think
feel
that
intentionality behind the questions. What do you mean by that?
like I'm trying to be either led or cornered, in a sense.
Do you feel that way?
Why do you
I
think you're
do.
being led or cornered?
I'm sorry.
Why do you think you're being led or cornered?
Because of the line of questioning.
What is the prompt?
In your beliefs. I answered the other ones. What is your belief and why do you believe it?
Why don't you answer the first one?
I thought that's what we're doing. So yeah.
So the line of questioning is to see if you can question your beliefs.
Okay.
I guess I'd be curious about why you think you're being backed into a corner.
So the line of questioning is to see if you can question your beliefs.
So I guess if you guys are saying I'm full of understanding that back.
Just to be clearful, Thrayle asked you what is energy, and you said you don't know. And
Well,
then
I
you
said I
proceeded
did
to say,
know, and then I said I guess if we're gonna go and he's gonna say I'm being circular basically, then I'm gonna say I don't know because that's what it seems like needs to be said.
Is circular not another way of kind of expressing this flatness?
No, because it's the opposite. Flatness would be, in my way of thinking, because of the language being used, flatness would be either vague or overly simplified, like you said. Now, circular is me being led back into saying the same thing that I've said over and over because you guys aren't satisfied with it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But if you have not explained what energy is outside of that circle, and you have already expressed that there are more complex ways to do that, then are you still questioning your beliefs? Like, in other words, like I'm asking you, what is energy? Let's go deeper. What is this thing? How does this universe work? How do you believe the universe works?
Okay, so that's a different question. You said, how do I believe the universe works? I do believe that energy makes up the universe and, different types of it. For me, because it's limited based off of I'm not an energy scientist, like I'm not a thermodynamicist or an astrophysicist. Like I said, historian, anthropologist, like specifically cultural anthropologist.
Thermodynamicist.
Yeah, exactly. As you can tell, I'm not a scientist. I'm not privy on, like the intricacies of all the different forms of energy. It's been a long time since I've taken actual science courses. So from what I can, know for myself and what I've experienced and the way I experience, these questions and these lines of questions with my own beliefs is souls are energy. It's a different type of energy than fire or, let's say, stars and things like that, in the sense that we have agency, and the thing is that we both have, to me it seems like we have that agency for destruction or creation, and that goes a lot further than I feel like different types of energy does.
If you could track the thing that you call energy through the human body, through the unalivement process, if you were able to track this energy and see that it, hypothetically, to see that it just, everything around it to become just sort of, other things. If you could see that, if you into obsolescence, would that change your belief that the energy is the soul?
So if you're saying, and just clarifying, correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying if I could track what I believe the soul is, this energy that I'm talking about, and I could experience or I could understand and track in that tracking that it no longer and eventually would dissipate into obsolescence, would it change my understanding of the soul? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't believe that's what would happen if I could track it. I believe what would happen.
I started that with hypothetically. It's not.
If
it's
I
not,
could.
It's not. Do you believe my hypothetical to be true? It's. Would this yield a different result in this scenario?
Okay. Well, it depends, I guess, on the definition of
How
obsolescence.
hypotheticals work.
What do you mean by obsolescence? I guess that's the biggest part for me.
Obsolete. To become. For the sake of the question, it doesn't maintain the meaning that it held.
Okay. Does it maintain the meaning that it held? Okay, because
that it's not all cohesively one thing anymore. It never really was.
It's all cohesively one thing.
Like, let me put it more bluntly, like fuel from a fuel tank spilled out on the ground to just kind of evaporate.
Okay, I mean, if I believe that's what energy was, and in that hypothetical, then yes, but that's not what I believe energy is.
I understand that's not what you believe energy is.
Okay, but yes, if it was that, then yes, then I could believe that, because it would make sense if it's like fuel and then it becomes something else and it's no longer fuel. It can be obsolete in terms of not being able to fuel the thing that it once did fuel if it's all used up. Yeah, it makes sense.
If that were what it was, if that were what energy was powering the brain and the body did upon the death, then I suppose if that's how you're hearing the question.
If that's how it is, hypothetically speaking, yes.
I don't hear that you're actually capable of questioning your beliefs. I'm hearing that you're very guarded on each of these questions. So
I feel like I'm not guarded. I just feel like
I feel like I do. I feel like you're guarded. You're framing the answers strangely and kind of avoiding the cores of the questions. I'm curious why that is. Is it that you think this is an attack?
I don't think that it's an attack. I feel like it's I feel like that if you know something I don't, if I'm being honest, then you should be honest.
If I know something you don't.
Correct. Because I don't believe that's what the type of energy is. In the hypothetical, it frames it to me that like it's I'm gonna get caught in something. The energy that I feel like is that the energy, once it's no longer fulfilling, that's why I use the intention, like that's why I was intentional with what I said with the brain filtering
you were
the energy.
trying to disarm the questions and make them mean something else so that you could answer them in a different way. I understand.
What gives the
No, I'm not trying to do
impression
that. I'm trying to make sense of the
clearly did
questions in a way that I can.
What gives the impression
understand.
that we have a different answer from you?
I've kind of stated it already, but basically,
He's not a, like, I'm not even sure what this is anymore. I don't feel like you're here to question your beliefs. Why do you even want to be up here?
I want to learn.
Interesting way to do it.
I mean, we're all questioning, right?
No, I don't think you are.
Okay. That's your
I
belief.
really don't. I don't see you questioning here. Maybe I'm wrong, and I leave plenty of room for the possibility that I am wrong.
I suppose that I have to be convinced.
Okay, I guess what...
You have to be convinced to question your beliefs.
No, convinced that what I am stating is either incorrect or...
You're looking for a debate. You want us to argue against you rather than try to question you in a way that lets you expand your mind. You want to avoid
maybe
those
that's where the
questions.
guardedness seems to come from, and I'm
wanna
used to
avoid
that. I'm used to debating.
Like you're talking over me right now. You want to avoid actually hearing questions that could expand your way of thinking. Instead, you want to argue against things to prove that you're better. And that's not what this place is. It's disrespectful to what this is.
To prove that I'm better, I don't feel that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be like, I don't hear any questions that I haven't heard already. That's what's making me feel like we're being circular. But I understand where you're coming from because it's true. I am used to debating. So that's probably where the guardedness seems to come from. And I don't mean to come off that way. It's just, it's probably reflexive, to be honest.
I feel like the reason you keep hearing the same question is because you still have not answered the question we've asked.
And that's the
question
thing.
Your beliefs?
Yes. I thought that's what we're doing.
What does that mean to you?
To question my beliefs?
Yes, what does that mean?
When I question my beliefs, I think what I'm trying to do is learn something new.
About what?
About either myself or everything.
What do you mean by everything?
How we experience things. Because that's the thing that I think I know. Like I have a handle on, is that I can only understand what I can experience to a degree.
Okay.
Outside of that, obviously.
To you, does questioning your beliefs mean adding to your knowledge or testing your knowledge?
Both. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I've come from, I mean, like I stated, I've been an educator for a long time, so it's hard to come outside of the, I guess, the way that we set up the school system being hierarchical. now that I'm like thinking about it more and trying to relax in my
Do you work in a
reflexiveness.
Do you work in a system where it's the book says, so the teacher says, so the students learn, that kind of system?
No, because I work in a place where we have a little bit more creativity and freedom than as, thankfully.
You're very lucky.
Yes, I do live in California.
You're even more lucky. Just purely for that fact educationally.
Yeah. I do not take that for granted.
You believe that a soul is the energy that powers the mind, so that, or is filtered by the mind.
Yes. I guess it would do both in my understanding.
If I were to stop eating food, would my soul continue?
Yes,
That's dangerous.
it is.
No, I'm saying that mentality is dangerous.
Which mentality?
That a soul would power my mind absent sustenance. That leads to a belief system. It implies a belief system known as breatharianism, which is really dangerous.
Could you explain what breatharianism is?
People who believe that they maintain their body's nourishment through breathing air, hence the name breatharianism.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And standing in the sun and sun gazing, all that kind of
stuff. I've seen,
you probably know is better than...
Seems kind of interestingly weird.
Yeah,
but yeah.
You know better than to do that sort of thing, probably.
What's interesting about it? Like, why is that interesting?
Why is it interesting to me?
I don't know. I don't really. I'm not actually asking that question.
You don't want to dive too deep down that, do you?
Oh, I remember hearing about that like maybe 20 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And that's when you say that the soul powers the mind absent sustenance, that's implied somehow that there is some external power source that a human body can maintain itself on without, well, the food intake that we know we need, the caloric intake at least.
Well, I'm not saying that, mental functions don't break down. I'm not saying that we won't die without nourishment. But what I would say is this, is that there are some people, and there are more like all people to a degree, right? And whatever that degree is, I don't know, because everybody's different. In my belief, I would feel that some people will maintain more cognitive function longer. And it's not due to genetics, but through sheer will. Just like, I don't know. I guess if some people without any prior, and I don't know if this is a direct equivalent, but it's the thing that came to mind. If people were tortured.
Right, but I'm sorry, before you go too far down another example, you say they'll maintain their function longer. Do you mean by like minutes, hours, days, weeks? Because, I mean, if we're talking about something that's actually external, that's powering this, then it would be notably different than someone who you might say has a weaker will, by the way you described it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if it was something external, yes, but I don't think it's something external. But I understand what you're saying, that would make sense. But what I was saying is kind of like, if we were to turn it into something like, if someone was tortured, one person compared to another, some people, for whatever reason, could uphold and go through torture differently than others. It's kind of like we're both, if it's the same thing and we all have the same neurons or the same nervous system, and the pain thresholds, I don't understand, like what gets them through it, what gets some people through torture as opposed to others, albeit without training. Just normal people, they're not like soldiers trained by this. Is that not just also sheer will?
I don't have an answer for that, but I also, two things. I don't know what studies you're looking at with civilian torture results. That's kind of strange. And I can't say whether it's will or experience, individual understandings, just people who have, different frames of mind. But I don't know how that implies a soul in any way.
Because I think
would you be saying that the ones that aren't getting through it don't have a soul, or their soul is weaker somehow?
I guess it seems like that's what I would be implying, but it's more to the functionality of the question, right? Like you said, if the body had without nourishment, would it continue to keep the mind, I guess, stable in a sense? To me, it's like if they're both undergoing what would be trauma to the body, severe trauma, wouldn't there be differences and variance, right? And wouldn't that variance imply some sort of will? And that will implies the soul.
Is everybody's brain exactly the same?
Exactly, no.
Then how can you expect a constant result?
What do you mean? How can I expect a constant result?
For those studies or papers that you read,
I didn't read any studies or things on those.
He didn't read any studies. He's kind
I
of using
apologize.
generic examples.
Yes.
Off the top of his brain.
Off the top of your brain, then. I apologize. I was not trying to be accusatory or anything like that.
No, I didn't think so. You were.
Insofar as, how... That changes my whole line of questioning. Hold on. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's presenting these examples, but these examples, as stated, are off the top of his brain. We don't have any data actually being cited here. It's just kind of he feels like this is the case. So
the only thing I can say is that there have been recorded cases of very well-trained civilians, not necessarily to the level of military training, who have been trained to withstand torture, that have not, and vice versa, as well as there are very well-trained military professionals that have documented cases of breaking under duress. So I don't know that that's necessarily a very good example.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, how is deprivation of food a more constant way to measure this than torture?
it's not a constant way to measure this.
Okay.
It's not.
Again,
because
this is the weird rabbit trail that we are down right now is because you are approaching this like a debate. You're trying to rebut a question.
I guess that's the way I try and make sense of them.
It kind of makes no sense. It's not really participating in the exercise. It's kind of getting us off track again. So I think what we're going to do, Full, is really, unless anybody else has a question that they'd like to have rebutted, I think we're going to move on.
All right. Have a good night.
appreciate you. I hope that you keep watching, keep listening. Maybe you'll find, maybe you'll see the difference in the way that some people approach questions. It's not about winning. It's not about coming up here and proving your belief. I'm not looking to prove it wrong. I just want to know if you can question it at all. And it's not seeming like we were being very productive in that.
Billions of years of untold.
Hello?
Hello, Gavin. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
No, I'm atheist.
And why don't you believe in a god?
I don't think it's necessary for our universe, nor do I think it's a rational thought process.
You don't think it's necessary, and you don't think it's a rational thought process. Interesting. Why don't you think it's necessary?
I mean, I think our universe always existed, so I don't think there's a creator. Therefore, I mean, I don't see a necessity for a God if our universe can or have always existed.
Can you think of anything that might convince you that a god or anything like it does exist?
You know, I would like to say yes, but it's kind of hard to even imagine what that would be, but I'm not closed off to the idea of there being a God. I just don't see any reason in the reality that we live in to believe in one. And like, yeah, I mean, I can't really conceptualize something that would convince me besides like a God coming down to earth and saying, I'm real, or like doing something supernatural.
And if a god did come down and do something supernatural and convinced you that it existed, would you worship it just by the nature of it existing?
No, I probably wouldn't. Like, if it was for example, like Jesus came down, I still probably wouldn't worship him. But if like an unknown deity, like one we don't have a religion about, came down, I would have to really like do my best to.
What do you think might convince you to worship a god?
Oh, would convince me to worship a god. I would just need something to push me beyond reasonable good intentions. Now, what that would be, I don't know. Maybe seeing it be the God, like doing actions that align with, you know, goodness or flourishing.
Does it matter to you if a god exists at all?
No, it doesn't matter to me, really. I mean, I don't currently believe in a God, and I really enjoy my life.
If there were to be some way that it was proven to you that there was a God, would you change the way that you currently live your life at all? God.
Hours from that information.
I don't think I have any more questions for you, Gavin, but I appreciate you coming up and answering the questions you did. I think we're going to move on to the next guest.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Take care. keep asking questions. This is fitting if this isn't a ghost.
Hello.
Everyone sounds a little sleepy tonight. Hello, Sleepy. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
21. Yes, I've had, and I have gone. The God of what many relate to in the big if, this and that, but I've never really read it, but I've always had a deep feeling of, and I guess through connecting with everything that God has made through,
Sleepy. I've got it.
yeah,
Sorry.
and with,
Off. Is their words kind of getting muffled?
oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hold them your microphone around a whole lot?
Oh, I'm,
Come through
yeah,
a little clearer. It somehow is real, but you
never really quite read the Bible. I've really never had any interest in it.
Why?
I guess it's mostly because, no, I truly don't. I've never really,
Why?
it's just a bunch of words and man that who could have made the Bible rather than a God that has created life, has created forms of things that can give meaning and give life and I guess a, not a purpose, a meaning, a cycle, a
So,
life and death, and a meaning.
so
And
identify as Christian?
I don't quite claim to be Christian. I just claim to be what I what I believe in, my beliefs and my understandings, and but I've never. I mean, I've had many times in my childhood had been this and that of somebody telling me to always do good, always treat people how you would want to be treated yourself, never do no harm, never. And I've always
okay?
been
Sleepy.
told throughout the
Sleepy. I'm sorry. You kind of your answers
right.
aren't quite to the question. So let's back up just a little bit. Do you believe there is a God? Yes or no?
Yes,
Is right getting to the points of the question? There is a God you believe in. The God you believe in.
I believe the God of who sent the form of not himself, but in his down from the heaven to bring souls that are to be held on this world, free them eternally, and set them to heaven. And it's something I've
Heaven.
always believed in.
So you
But
believe in Jesus?
I mean, I don't quite believe in the whole story. No, I've just always believed in.
But you believe that part of the story.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, people can twist and turn, and I don't quite believe anything man has made, anything man has said. But
Why do you believe that thing that man has said?
about God, about Jesus,
About Jesus, yes.
I guess it would just come from the understanding how I've lived throughout life and seen parts and pieces of people, and the only part that I really do any good is love, and it's the only thing that I believe in and have my belief for. I just, I've never seen people, because why I don't believe in the Bible most of the time is I just, I, I feel a,
Sleepy, what was the question? If you don't believe the stories of men, as you said.
I guess it just comes from, I wouldn't say trust, but I guess it would just come from an understanding of how people treat one another and how if there is a chance of there being somebody that is not from a book that man has made, but just from a belief, a standpoint, a hope, a faith of there being
Sleep.
something that
Sleepy, what are you actually saying? What question are you answering? This is really, you're just rambling on and just saying words, but you're not
Is this
completing a
Haru?
thought.
Is this
It
Haru?
has to be. It has to be Haru.
Nailed it. That was easy. Good night, Haru. I mean, they are very good at it. I mean, it is like impressive.
That was Haru's best work. I should have recognized the voice as soon as you said it. I'm like, yep, that's Haru. Wow. Good work, Haru. Sleep well.
The skill that took.
It was like the disassociative that I think was like so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
10 out of 10 would recommend. I think what's also a little scary is like how believable. You know what I mean? Excuse me.
I was about to just kindly let them down.
Uh, excuse me. Did you see we had a major solar storm?
Oh. What was that? I'm sorry.
Major solar storm.
Yeah, it was like I think they said it was like the largest one in like for freaking ever.
Oh, wonderful. We're also about to get one of the worst winter storms ever.
Yeah,
Yay.
not prepared.
The northern lights are supposed to be as visible all the way to like Tennessee or even Georgia.
That's been the case since August. That's so.
And a quiet night at the Batcolyte.
Ooh, excuse me.
Haru was the most excitement we've had. It's been a quiet night at the most exciting. Still needs to question, but he's doing all right. And then before that, was there a guest before that? Yeah, there were a few guests before that. It feels like it's been a longer night than it has. I think they might be running together. It's been
Yeah.
a week since I took a night off.
I ate some of the juiciest grapes I've ever had in my life, and now I'm aspirating.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
You're supposed to eat the food, not breathe it.
It's just so delicious.
Well, while we sit here in the quiet, I guess, I turn that down so we could better hear the guest. They had to be doing the mic. Now that I know it was Haru, I think they were doing the mic thing on purpose. That was frustrating me more than the circuitous answers. Oh, I don't know if they're connected. I don't imagine they were connected.
Do you think people should request if they believe in a god or gods or higher powers? Or anything like that?
Nah.
That's it. He's packing it in, folks.
No, I don't expect anybody to actually have a belief and be able to question that. I mean, that's ludicrous. Why would anybody ever have a belief and question it?
What kind of belief?
I don't know, like the kind that like has something to do with a god, something like that.
Something like that.
What
Yeah,
about multiple gods?
No, or that, I guess, or goddesses, or like
Even a higher
goddess,
power.
or like
Mm.
an animal god with like wings.
We
and
don't
a tail.
discriminate or burgle.
It's whatever god. If you got a belief in one like that, you can question it. It's really it. But I don't think anybody's like that. Like nobody exists like that, or else somebody would start alive and actually focus on that and try to question those people. It's not a bad idea. Oh. Oh yeah. Well, welcome to the Batcolyte, everybody, if you're just joining us.
Oh, is that what this is?
Of course, if you do have a belief in a god or god's higher power or anything like that, you are capable of questioning that belief, then go ahead and request on up. I just want to know if you can question your beliefs, and if you can, well then, what is it that you believe, and why do you believe it?
Had an interesting conversation yesterday. I'd be curious to hear people's thoughts. I held the position that no matter if you live in the West, experience the world through a Christian lens.
You're saying that if you live in the West, then you must necessarily have a Christian lens.
Yeah. You may have other lenses through which you view the world. I guess necessarily, maybe not primarily, but necessarily, there is a Christian lens put over the way you view the world.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Great.
Question it.
What evidence supports that?
Well, I would say that given that way leads on to way, this country, in its iteration, is a product of Christendom in itself.
What can you define the Christian lens?
Yeah. So in 1611, I guess in 1492, the Catholic crown sent 3 boats to find a trade route to India, supposedly. And in 15, no, it must have been before that. Maybe I'm thinking of Leif Erikson would maybe be the only evidence of non-Christian coming here, but that's certainly not the dominant colonization. Anyway, the point is that 1492, 1611, these dates of sort of the colonization, the beginning of the establishment of Plymouth Rock colony and the United States in general is through a Christian apparatus. I mean, I guess like I'm assuming that you know history, and and so I guess at what point is it not through a Christian lens? Certainly, there are people in this country that are not Christian. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but slavery is justified through Christianity. The economic system is justified through Christianity. And because one thing leads to another, it is coded or filmed or injected with and have Christian power, is necessarily sort of begging permission into that or finding ways to succeed in spite of that core sense of power.
Does being fueled by Christianity, or at least seeming to be fueled by Christianity, make it an entirely Christian-influenced society? Is the influence really Christian, or is it what has usurped that?
I think part of it is the notion of mentality, like patriarchal, top-down, centralized power. I mean, we basically have a king.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Is there any other belief system, or rather, hold on. Is there a moral or ethical lesson that Christianity has introduced that no other belief system has?
I guess I'm not sure. A, I'm not sure I understand the question, and B, I'm not sure how that question necessarily applies to what I was saying, and I
It
could be
does.
just wrong. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure. Okay.
So along the same lines of defining what exactly is a Christian, along the same line, Christian lens, and what out of that was introduced with Christianity, that has not been a part of any other belief system.
Can I steel man what the question is? Because I think I'm hearing two questions in it. One is, what are the other things that contribute to the lens of the West?
No, disregard.
No. Okay. All right. And the other, repeat the last part one more time.
Are there any moral or ethical lessons that were introduced with the founding of Christianity that have not been, not purported's not the right word, that have not also been taught in another belief or faith system?
Yeah, missionary work. The intentional flattening of indigenous people and missionary work, like setting up institutions of Christianity that necessarily flatten whatever group it inserts itself into. And I mean, I guess you could say that that's what Hellenism does, but not to the point of parishes, of churches, of missions, schools.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, maybe not, but I'm saying in the West.
Mm.
I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I am trying to think of other groups in the West that set up schools and churches and.
The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas.
Set up missions?
Perhaps not in the same manner.
that the Aztecs, Incas, Maya, by virtue of having civilization, is that what you're saying?
No, not by virtue of having civilization.
I don't understand. And I'll say, like, I wrote a large paper on the Maya, but I don't remember, like, it was a comparative analysis between Chichen Itza and Tulum, so I don't know. I might have missed this piece of it, but I guess I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about it later if you'd like.
All right. Mm-hmm. If I were to look something up, what should I look up?
I would look into the what's the word? The spread of their belief system. The and how that interacted with their slave trade.
What is the Kalmakak? Kalmakak. This is the Aztec.
You asking me?
I'm sorry, you say that again?
Okay, so the Aztec had something called the Kalmakak, apparently. It was an institution for training priests and nobles focused on religion, astronomy, and starcraft. Were you talking about schools or missions?
Me? I don't know who you're talking to.
Both of you.
I mean, that was the concept. Yeah.
When I said schools, I should have clarified what I meant was residential schools in order to conform and re-educate.
But even then, is that an institution that Christianity solely introduced?
In the West?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that Aztecs and Mayans also did that? I guess I don't know. To the best of my understanding, I cannot think of another group or way in which that happened.
That's fair.
I guess I don't know what the right thing to look up is.
Yeah, I don't either. Trying to find anything. But I don't know.
Just a second.
Yeah. I'm a little lost on where we're going. But I think I could try to steelman the question here, but I'm not sure. This is a derailment, I think. While they both look it up, if anybody's actually got a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning your belief, go ahead and request on up. I think maybe there can be. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to detract from whatever Morgan knows or is questioning. But is it possible there were other practices existed besides Christianity?
Also, for whatever it's worth, Hazel and I have been talking on Discord, and they were wondering about process theology. So if you do need something else that is at least God talk related that can drive
we
an
can
algorithm,
question your.
yeah, you're welcome.
We can question your process.
I offer myself as tribute. So I would even say, like, and this is, I think, if I were to give my best critique against this question, I would say things that are antithesis to Christianity are that are Western, or even still with the Christian lens, because they're necessarily in response to. So, like, thinking like Marxism or the Enlightenment, just like things that.
Is this still attributable to Christianity?
That's what I. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I think my questions before were more about is it attributable to Christianity itself, or is it just this framework that we have built up around it?
So I think that's a bit of an anachronism, because there was no distinction between Christendom until the Enlightenment anyway. Like, that's the beginning of that distinction, and I can't, as somebody, and I'm sure there are other people that can relate to this, of feeling that there is a way that, the best language that I have to describe it is code switching. And that interacting with society is different than interacting with my peeps. And there's like a thing that happens, sort of society, that is like a pervasive, like distinguished, like I could list a bunch of things that exist in society and sort of create a whole, list of analogs, I guess, that I would make all kinds of connections with, but it's I don't know. That's like a that's sticky.
Expansion when they were conquering neighboring lands. It's similar to how the Hellenistic Greeks, as well as the Romans, into their pantheon.
It's a little different, though. It's more adopting to to practice in. Right. Is that what Rav's saying is?
Of itself is a school to teach ideology, is it not? To standardize an ideology?
I hope. I mean, I would hope that the school raises some questions and debate. Like who?
Oh, you were talking about in the Christian sense, though.
Oh, I'm saying, yeah, but like the Christian schools, like public schools are Christian schools. The way that our, we go, public schools are very new. Like that was it. Whatever education you had was through the church.
No.
And,
Because it
you
used
know
to
what
be
I'm
in the
saying?
church. We'll have to go further into this later.
What I looked up, the Coeticality, Coeticality, is that what it is?
Coeticality. Very Americanized pronunciation, by the way. I'm so sorry. It's
Yeah, my mind is not great either.
Yeah.
Anything about like a school.
What do you mean, like a box? It was a temple.
Can you come up and ask about Rav's process, God? I mean, I suppose, Hazelnut, you can ask about Rav's process, God. Although I do, encourage anybody who's got a belief in a God or God's higher power or anything like that, you're capable of. I do higher power or anything like. Go ahead and request on that.
So he just was saying needs to be careful distinction because the word can mislead. Short answer: it's not a temple building. It is a stone shrine or sacred. I think it says box next.
This is housing.
Housing. This is not part of the process. Well, I guess yes, it is part of the process. What am I talking about? Yes, and of course it is.
Everything is part of the process because his process is energy.
Well, no.
But I'm also wondering.
Everything is in process. What's that?
I'm wondering if we're disagreeing on the same. We're not disagreeing, but like disagreeing on. I'm sure you don't initially view the world through a Christian lens.
No. Well,
I think that's part of his point, though, is that maybe he does.
And I'm realizing that that's exactly proving my point, or proving his point.
it's like a weird sensation in the sense that like part of it's like it's yeah.
Oh, look, a person.
There is a person. Hold on to your questions, Hazelnut. Hey there, Haneho. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
37.
Do you have a belief in it? I'm sorry, what?
There's another stream that I've joined. They asked that they drop their numbers in the chat, so I didn't know if that was I need to type it, so I typed it.
Okay.
The age Yeah.
Do you have a belief in a God or God?
And it's a dynamic one. So as I observe and go through life, it alters, it changes, just to whatever makes more sense logically. My current iteration is that I've always been hung up.
I was curious if you had a belief in a God or anything like that.
I do.
And what God is that?
It's the Christian God. But I think that the story, regardless of how it's been told, through whatever lens, they are leaving out major parts. There's still a lot of parts of the Christian faith that make no sense. But you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, that makes all the sense.
So, have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
Pretty much all the greatest, Bible's greatest hits, all the children's stories.
Do you believe those stories to be true?
I believe that a lot of them carry amounts of truth in them, but ultimately, like the main message is there, but they